there are occasions when it can go too far,
Kenneth,
aren't there?
Please.
Yes?
Hello, Kenneth.
Hello, Henry. It is
Hello.
Henry, my darling.
It is, hello. Kenneth, of all the phases and all the styles of humour you've been involved in over the years, in films and radio and television and the stage, what's your favourite?
My favourite what?
Style of humour. Your favourite style of humour.
I see. Well, I think I would go for any kind, really, as long as it is humour. And humour, I think it was Wilde who said there are only three categories. One is relationships, one is situation, and the other is linguistic. I mean, pun, play on words, or whatever. And there always is a joke to illustrate exactly that. And if they're good or they're kind, I enjoy them. I enjoy them all if they're good or they're kind. I think that's the essential factor. They have to be good or they're kind. It's like Wilde, sing about humour. There's nothing in bad taste as long as it's funny. And what I enjoy about situation comedy I enjoy is the one about the sailor coming home and seeing this place transformed with a carpet, magnificent carpet everywhere, and he went up the stairs with carpet all relaid up there as well, and this great four-poster on which his wife was lying in a very tantalising negligee, and he'd come home, the sailor, unexpectedly, and he was staggered by all this opulence. And by the open window was a man in boxer shorts and a bowler doing press-ups. And he said, who's paid for all this carpet? And he said, and who's bought this four-poster bed you're laying on? He said, and who's brought you the negligee? He said, and who's been sending me £5 a week to Chatham? Said him. He said, well, close the window, you get pneumonia. I was telling Stanley that, and he said, I would never use that tagline. I'd say, close the window, catches death. He said, I wouldn't use pneumonia. I think it's a terrible thing to say. Bad, sounds like sickness. No, you wouldn't use it at all. And when it comes to relationships, the relationship the one accepts always, when it's confounded, that to me is very funny. There's a relationship one I adore about the doctor saying to the couple who ask him why they can't have children. He says, well, I've really investigated your condition in depth, taken urine samples and blood samples. It's obvious why you're not having children. You, madam, have an excess of sugar, and you, sir, have an excess of albumin. You can't have children, but you can make lovely meringues. It's just the reversal. It's the reversal of identities, because you accept the fact initially that he's supposed to be authoritative, and it turns out not to be authoritative at all. It's just rubbish. But it's like that Edward de Bono thing about the child and the father in the car, and there's an accident, and the father is taken away, and the child is rushed to the hospital, and his father is taken away from the boy, and then he gets to the hospital. And the doctor looks at him and says, my son. And you ask the people you're telling the story to, what is the relationship? And they always say something weird, like, it's a priest calling the child. The doctor is a priest. And they, no. And they don't ever get it, because the simple answer is the doctor is his mother. But it's an extraordinarily interesting story, because it does reveal attitudes and relationships, and we do have fixed attitudes about relationships in our heads. The other thing, the linguistic one, comes under all kinds of categories, puns, and the one I enjoy very much is about this woman at the zoo and this Frenchman who's visiting London Zoo is listening, and the child says, what is that hanging from the elephant? She says, this is trunk. And he said, no, the other end. She said, this is tail. And he said, no, not quite the end. And she said, oh, that's nothing. And the Frenchman said, oh, madame, vous êtes très blasée.